If you have made it to this point, congratulations. If you skipped to this point, I'm gonna need you to jump back to video one and watch it in order, because pretty much if you don't, you're gonna have no idea what you're doing. So I'm gonna give you a moment to just jump back. Put my glasses. This is a serious moment. I'll give you a moment. All right, and we're back. So let's talk about this paper. As I said in the very beginning, I need you to breathe. We're going to breathe again. Breathe. One more time. Breathe. All right. This paper will probably be one of the hardest things you do in this class. Here's why. You're not used to doing something like this. Just gonna sit here and explain and be like, go for broke. I'm gonna be very honest with you. This because you're not used to really doing something like this. You're used to literary analysis, where you're looking at themes and all, and like looking at the story and everything. But asking you to analyze someone's rhetoric, totally new. But you do it all the time. You make judge. So you're looking at people's outfits, looking at pictures, looking at the pricing of things. Like someone persuade, like when someone's trying to sell you a car or sell you a product, you're trying to make sure to analyze and pay attention to what they're saying to see if they're conveying a message effectively, with the goal of them getting you to do what they want you to do. Buy the product, watch the show, things like that. This video is crucial, and I need you to listen to everything I'm telling you. Okay? I need you to listen to everything I'm telling you, and you will be fine. I promise. All right? So let's jump into this. What we're doing. All right? So rhetoric is everywhere. So when using and analyzing rhetoric, you have to make intentional and meaningful choices that show awareness of the rhetorical situation. Intentional and meaningful is crucial. Intentional. You're picking specific things. Meaningful. You're able to take those specific things and break them down to show that you know the full story. So let's get into this. So rhetorical analysis is simply thinking through the rhetorical situation and how those choices affect the message. You do not give your opinion on the topic. Let me just pop back up on the screen real quick. This is the biggest downfall with this assignment. People go straight into opinion, but not analysis. I just gonna keep it a buck 50 with you. I don't care if you don't like the particular thing the person's talking about, or if you agree or disagree with them. That's not what I'm looking for. What this assignment is calling for is, are you able to show them to be like, this is the message, this is how they conveyed it. That's it. That's it. But what people do in analysis is, people think analysis is opinion, as in like or dislike. And this assignment is not asking you to do that. So that's very crucial. Now, for some of y'all, you might need to come back to this. Might need to remind this. Actually, you might want to put a clip on it. I might make it one of the YouTube shorts, but if it lets me. I need you to remember this. Remember this. This is not about your preference. Say this again. This is not about your preference. Say it one more time. This is not about your preference. This is the message. This is how they conveyed it. that alone is argument enough. Okay, so don't. Well, I don't. I don't care if you like what they said. This is the message. This is how they conveyed it. Here's the thing about argument and about writing in general. Even looking at a thesis statement. A thesis statement is either the answers are yes, no, or yes, but. Okay, so people could watch. You could watch the same thing, and people find different things and different ways of how the information is conveyed. Okay, so it's not. It cannot just. So I cannot. This is the thing. This is the one thing in the almost 2 years we've done this paper. This is the one thing that gets everybody. This paper is not about your preference. It is about this is the message. This is how it was conveyed. So what you're doing is you're picking apart the choices and effects, which we'll get to that in a second. You're picking apart what that person did to convey the message. That's it. If you do that, you're good. Let's talk about how we can do that. All right, so the rhetorical situation is 4 parts. The first part is your audience. Who is in the room? There is your intentional audience, and then there's the unintentional audience, or your secondary audience. The intentional audience are the people you're speaking directly to. Right now, the intentional audience for this video and the videos for these classes are for Hocking College students who are taking Composition 1. However, secondary audience is someone who's trying to figure out how to do a rhetorical analysis, or some random person who's trying to learn how to do rhetoric. So what I do, and the choices that I make, how I say things, what I wear, how the slides are created, how things flow. Those choices are intended to speak to a Hocking College student who is taking Composition 1. But I also have to be aware of people who are outside of that audience who are also trying to find the same information. All right? Let's keep going. Purpose is the what and the why. What are they saying and why are they saying it? So the purpose is kind of like your thesis. Okay, so let's talk about, again, these videos that I've been making. The purpose of these videos, for this video series, is to provide lectures in video to teach you the material for the course. For this one, the purpose of this video set of what is rhetoric is to teach you not only what rhetoric is, but what rhetoric is, how to identify rhetorical appeals and use them, how to identify rhetorical fallacies and avoid them, and ultimately how to do a rhetorical analysis paper or project, whatever you decide to do. Why is this? So what and why? Okay. Where? So context is very important, especially when you're watching older things, because you have to understand what's happening around it. Okay. So the context of these videos, the context of me doing this, is to create guiding documents, a guiding document of instruction for teachers, first and foremost. Second of all, to create an additional resource for students or for our online students to create lectures that are already embedded in the course, so that way people are able to engage with the information in real time. That's the context. So this is designed to be in an online environment, while also with an ever-changing need, but also being surrounded by the ever-changing needs of 21st century instructional practices. Now let's talk about the last one. Genre and conventions. How? So the genre, typically this information is presented in a lecture format. So we are in a classroom. I have this on the screen. We're talking. It's back and forth. We're vibing. All these things. But I also have to be willing to tailor this to the genre and conventions of an educational YouTube video. So, because again, this is designed. What's the intended audience? A Hocking College student taking Composition 1. The secondary audience is someone who happens to be on YouTube who's looking for information about how to do rhetorical analysis. So I have to understand and follow the genre and genre conventions of an educational YouTube video, which is why you don't just have me sitting here talking to you for a long period of time. We're conversational in tone. You also have images and graphics to give you breaks from things. We also have the flowing in and out between videos, and you see my face, you see the screen. The peer review video, you have me in a little circle at the bottom talking, so that way there's still that engagement. Now, the concept of choices and effects. So what I just did was broke down the rhetorical situation, and I explained to you my choices, why I chose these things, and the intended effect of my choices. The intended effect of my choices is for you as the student, or you as the viewer, or you what have you, to be able to learn from this information and apply it. For many students, don't handle someone. Hi, I'm your instructor, and today we're talking about rhetorical analysis. Most students don't like that. Like they need a conversation. They need to be able to hear someone go with life. Like I can't stand one of those webinars where it's just a person talking, or if the audio. As someone who works in digital spaces and does like desktop publishing and video editing, audio editing, I can't there's just some things I personally can't handle. So I make the choices to use the software that I use, to use the microphones that I use, so that way, and use the settings in the scenery, so and not really switch stuff up that much. I mean, you're either watching me, you see me from my office at work, or even my office at home. But I'm making intentional choices, so that way the effect is learning. The effect is understanding information, the use of humor, conversational tones, visual aids, random breaks. Also, even guide posting. What's guide posting? Guide posting is is really me going, hey, if you welcome to the last video of the lecture. If you haven't watched the previous 3, before you watch this one, go back and watch the first 3. Because I know what I do this. I will skip the first 3 and go straight to the main one, and then start working and have no idea what I'm doing. So I have to stop what I'm doing and then go back and watch the first 3 to understand the 4th. When just watch the first 3. Okay? So unintentional effects could be, someone learning, the intentional effect is learning. Unintentional effects could be someone needing further clarification. And it's hard to get further clarification on something on video. So if you're a Hocking College student taking Composition 1, and you have me as your instructor, you're going to email me and say, hey, I still have questions about blah, 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 blah. Or if your instructor is using this video, you're going to email your instructor and say, hey, I watched the video with Cass. Can you give me some clarity about A, B, C, and D? I didn't understand it. Or, unintentional effects could be joke didn't land. Or someone just doesn't like the video. And that's okay. We have to be able, in the rhetorical analysis, when you're looking at these TED Talks, you have to be able to identify the choices and the effects. So the person used a visual aid. Okay? What is the intended effect of a visual aid? And did it do and And did the effect match the result? What they wore, how they said things. Did they stand in one spot? Did they walk around? The, like, all these things work together to convey a rhetorical message. Like that. All right, so pretty much you'll be writing a rhetorical analysis based on a TED talk. Pretty much what you're going to do is in your introduction, you're going to get attention getters. If you are having me right now, y'all know I like my attention getters. But those of y'all who like what's an attention getter, it's designed to hook in the reader, get the reader's attention. Story, anecdote. I personally teach, don't do a rhetorical question. Don't be like, what if you could go to space? I'd go. Really, we're trying to get to that point anyway. I'd go. What if you could, what if you had a problem at work? I'd solve it. Okay, that's just me. Other people do other things different ways. I've always been taught, I've learned this as well, is that using a rhetorical question in a way could demean the reader, because you're making this person really think about something that's wasting their time. Good story, good anecdote. I know for me, I'm a creative writer by trade. So I've always learned, I always live by this rule that the first sentence of a book will tell me if the book is good. This is something when I go buy a book, I will literally go grab the book, open chapter 1, and read the first sentence and go, nope, put it back. I need you to think of your attention getter like that. My first 2 or 3 sentences cause the reader to want to continue reading this. And then you have, introduction is maybe 3 parts. Your attention getter, and you have your context. Your context for this paper needs to literally be, in this TED talk, blah, 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 but they discuss A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Context, basic background information. Then your thesis statement, the overall message of this TED talk is, bam, and it was conveyed in several ways. Oh my goodness, I just gave you a thesis statement. You can use that. I gave you a freebie. You can use that. Okay? Everybody clear on that? Or if you want to be specific, be specific. But remember, at the same order you listed in the thesis is the same order that you have to do it in the body. In the body part of the essay, you're pretty much breaking down the rhetorical choices, the rhetorical strategies, or we call it rhetorical moves in the field. The rhetorical moves that the person did to convey the message. Make sure that you are specific in your examples. You cite your examples. The citation in MLA format is usually the speaker's last name and then the timestamp that they said it. Okay? If you use the transcript in the TED and on the TED website, it will show you the timestamps. If you watch a video, you do it on YouTube, you just want to have to pause it and make sure you write down the timestamps. Okay? APA, author, speaker, year they did it, speaker, comma, year they did it, comma, timestamp. Okay? You're going to do this. So you're going to break down the rhetorical moves that show what they said. Rhetorical moves are beyond ethos, logos, pathos, and kairos. What are the narrative modes? What narrative modes did they use? Yes, it was a speech, but did they use description? Did they use process analysis? Did they use cause and effect? Did they or even the use of inductive and deductive reasoning? All these things all these things are rhetorical moves designed to convey the message. The conclusion says everything you just said. All right? Hear me. I'm going to take me some work. If you do everything I just told you, you will be fine. Now, one of the assignments is the rhetorical analysis pre-writing worksheet. That is literally you picking the speech apart. I always tell people, watch the speech cold first time, then watch it again, picking things apart. Use the worksheet apart the speech. Find what you need. And then from the worksheet, find the most intentional and meaningful choices. Intentional and meaningful choices. And you use those to write the paper or do the project. Okay? The instructions for this paper are in your Blackboard. Please make sure to read over them. If you have questions, please reach out to your instructor. If you're a human as me, please reach out to me. And again, if you listen to everything I told you in this video, you can write the paper. Make sure you put a works cited references page on there as well. Make sure your format is correct and all the other stuff is good. And you will be fine. All right? Awesome. Let's go get to it. Have a good week.